Hello everyone, this is Classic Crustaceo with Crustaceous Studios, welcoming you. Today we're going to take a look at what Fab is offering for their limited time free assets that will expire on May 19th. There is quite a wide range of assets that are available this time around. We have a modular low poly factory from 3D World Lab, a steampunk mechanical creature from Crazy Vertex, and lastly, some VFX lens flares from TXC stock. So let's go ahead and jump in engine and take a look. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the modular factory here. As you can see, it is low poly. Nothing here is too crazy. A lot of simple shapes, simple colors, almost shaded to a cartoony effect. I could see these assets being used for something like a factory simulator, maybe on mobile devices. Some of the things that are interesting to me is all of the road pieces have the decals on them already, which I find not very useful. I'd like to be able to place these myself if I wanted to, but there is enough variety here that you can be able to mix and match. The downside is that you have to use each piece modularly, and you can't just lay down a plane and then place the assets on top of them, the decals. But there's a lot of interesting variety that we have here. We have a few different trees. We have a bunch of different pipe connection pieces. There are a bunch of different buildings, which are great. You can be able to combine these together to be able to create some new, unique varieties, as well as a big old silo here that's even hollowed out, so you can be able to have a camera that is high up, or if you wanted to put something inside that can come out, you're not going to have too much of an issue. But let's jump over and take a look at the demo level, and you can see all of these pieces in place, and you can see that even with that small amount of assets, you can be able to create something that is pretty big and unique. But as you can see here, all of these pieces are separate and modular with the decals already on them. But it's a very interesting pack. I think that it can be used great again for mobile titles or any type of like outdoor factory simulator. That can be great in your game, or even just some placeholder assets if you are just doing some quick kind of prototyping and level blockouts. So let's jump into the next asset. So here we have the mechanical creature that's kind of like a saber-tooth cat. It's actually labeled as saber-tooth in the project folders, with quite a few different animations that come stock, which is really nice. One of the big things though to note is that there is no turning in place. You only have a run animation and a walk animation and a jump. So I could see something like this be used for like a turn-based combat system. Otherwise you would have to go in and make your own turn in place animations, or be okay with your mechanical creature just kind of sliding. It comes with a few other animations of being hit, a couple different death animations. They're very subtle. It took me a little bit to kind of notice the difference. The one on the left here, its head is a little bit higher. The one on the right, its head is a little bit lower, but they ultimately fall into pretty much the same position, with some very, very, very slight variation. I don't think that it would be enough to notice. You know, if there was a variety of different death animations that were subtle, I think it would be cool, but I feel like they should have been different enough to be able to add variety for only offering 2 of them, so that way they could be noticed to feel like there was some randomness to it if you decide to put the animations into an array. But it does come with some few attack animations. It has this ready stance, which is really cool. So if you're doing something where once it's ready to attack, it gets ready to telegraph to your player. It has a bite animation as well as a claw animation. The bite feels a little, again, subtle. There's a lot of subtlety in these animations here, which I think can be great. Can throw some VFX on there, especially if you're doing an RPG or turn-based combat. The claw is more pronounced, sticks out a lot more. Um, so again, I could be able to see some VFX that can accentuate and make it a little bit more apparent. But you know, if you're doing something that's like a platformer, I think that these animations will work really well too. And then this one is kind of the really great showcase of the animation set. There's this kind of shoot for ranged attacks. It comes with this VFX um, setup, so you don't need to create anything. So it comes with this Niagara system, and it's really cool. It allows you to be able to, you know, have some variety in terms of attacking. Again, if you're doing like a turn-based RPG, you have some variation where you can have a physical attack and a ranged attack, which makes things really, really nice. Can get you set up and thrown into the mix right away. There are a couple of different skins that you can use. As you can see here in the showcase, you kind of have this bronze look, this rusted look, and then this steel kind of metal different look. So all of the animations map onto these really great. I do say that the idle animations and the little orb that's in between that kind of acts as the, I would assume, like the actual eye for this creature, being animated looks really nice. So it's a really cool asset. I think that there's a lot of potential here. Again, if you wanted to do something that's like a turn in place, that's something that you're going to have to create on your own. But this is good to kind of get you set up and going. Again, I think that this would be great for a turn-based combat system of running up, doing its attack, and then jumping back into place. So it's set up for that pretty nicely. Let's take a look at the next asset. Finally, we have the visual effects pack of the different lens flares. These are really nice, I think. They can add some nice variety to your level, especially if you're doing anything special outdoors or even cinematic. There are quite a few different examples. The pack actually comes with 3 different demo levels, so there are quite a few different lens flares that you can be able to use. As you can see here, there's some nice kind of stretching effect here for the camera lens and bokeh effects and light distortion. So these are nice little things that just add nice little touches to your level that can be able to create just some cool, unique looks, especially with camera effects and cinematics. So I would highly recommend using these if you want to be able to do some cool things. Like this one here gives you that kind of spaceship in space lights kind of feel, or like a car's tail lights, which is really nice to be able to include in your projects. So that's the look at the 3 assets that are available right now for limited time until May 19th. Be sure to check them out. I always try and grab the assets that are available just so that I have a vast library. So by all means, please grab them. Once you have them, they're free forever. You don't ever have to go back and pay for them once they are no longer on the limited time free section. As you can see, these are all highly rated. So this is a solid 2 weeks of limited time free assets. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming and checking this out. I hope that you can be able to use these in your projects moving forward. And as always, happy developing.